Thank you for joining this self-learning session. During this session you will be able to deepen your knowledge and skills on the topic gender pay gap through watching a short video, completing the practical exercises.
Within this learning session you will develop awareness about the existence and implications of the gender pay gap, understand the reasons of the gender pay gap, explore the EU policies and strategies on reducing the gender pay gap, learn about the possible measures for reducing the gender pay gap and promote a more inclusive work environment. Be empowered to advocate for fair pay practices and equal opportunities for women and men. Let's start.
What is gender pay gap? The gender pay gap is the difference in average gross hourly earnings between women and men. It is based on salaries paid directly to employees before income tax and social security contributions are deducted.
The reasons for gender pay gap are sectoral segregation, when women are overrepresented in low-paid jobs and men are overrepresented in better-paid jobs. Unequal share of paid and unpaid work, women are more likely to work part-time because they need to take care of children when men are more likely to work full-time because they do not participate in household duties. The glass ceiling, companies simply do not let women get top positions.
The difference in payment that men and women get for the same job also is one of the reasons, which influence to the gender pay gap.
When a man gets a higher salary than a woman in the same position does because it is believed that a man needs more money to support his family. This is a stereotype because women support families too.
Working women in the EU earn on average 13% less per hour than men. Significant variations exist among EU countries in terms of the gender pay gap. It ranges from below 5% in Luxembourg, Romania, Slovenia, Italy, and Poland, to over 18% in Germany, Austria, Estonia, and Latvia.
In Spain the gender pay gap reaches 9%, in Greece 10%, in Lithuania 12% and even 14% in Latvia.
Women in the European Union still earn less than men on average. Despite the passage of time, this disparity has shown minimal improvement over the past decade. For every €1 men earn, women earn 87 cents. The general observation is that the more responsibilities a job has, the more chances are that a man will be paid more for it. The pay gap is the biggest at executive positions where men earn 28% more than their female colleagues.
Lower pay makes it harder for women, especially single women, to get ahead financially. Their lower earnings make it harder for them to save money for emergencies or retirement. But the impact of the gender pay gap isn't limited to women. It also puts families at risk, especially single mothers and their children, and harms the economy as a whole.
In order to reduce the pay gap, it is necessary to create equal working conditions for men and women. Here are a couple of examples of how it is possible to do.
Flexible schedules. Women take time off during working days more often than men because they need to take a child from school to home or to the doctor. A flexible schedule can allow women to do their job in the hours when they are freer. Parental leave. If dads can also take time off work to take care of their baby, then a boss does not have a reason to promote a man over a woman. An available service for child and elderly people cares also increases women's opportunities in labor market and career seeking.
Promote women's leadership and encourage them to follow non-traditional careers for women. In digital transition era, it is extremely important to promote women to the digital sector of the labor market.
If workers can see who earns how much for the same job they are doing, bosses will not be able to pay men more than women. The gender gap does not hurt only women, it hurts everyone. Increasing women's participation in the workforce and closing the pay gap between women and men will have a positive impact on economic growth in the EU.
The gender pay gap equals to a difference of around 1 month and a half of salary per year. The day of the year on which women symbolically stop on average to be paid compared to men is called the Equal Pay Day. The European Commission marks this day every year in order to keep raising awareness on the fact that female workers in Europe still earn on average less than their male colleagues. This day changes depending on the latest figure of the EU gender pay gap. In 2023, the European Equal Pay Day falls on 15th of November.
The gender pay gap extends beyond pay discrimination and encompasses a range of inequalities that women face in the workforce. These include sectoral segregation, unequal distribution of paid and unpaid work, the glass ceiling effect, and instances of pay discrimination despite legal provisions for equal pay. Factors that contribute to the gender pay gap are the societal norms, biases, and discriminatory practices. Addressing these factors is crucial to creating a more equitable work environment. Epsilon qual pay for equal work is a fundamental principle of the European Union, as stated in Article 157 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. It mandates that EU member states eradicate gender-based discrimination in all aspects and terms of compensation, ensuring equal remuneration for work of the same nature or equivalent value.
The Directive on Pay Transparency Measures was agreed upon by the European Parliament and the Council in year 2023. Member states has 3 years to implement it into their national legislation. By taking proactive measures to bridge the gender pay gap and promote equality in the workplace, and by recognizing the importance of challenging societal norms and biases that perpetuate gender disparities, we can together create a work environment where every individual has equal treatment and opportunities in order to thrive and succeed. As we strive for equality, let's remember the words of Malala Yousafzai: "We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back."
That's all for this video lesson. Thank you for your participation. Please continue your learning and complete the exercises provided in the e-learning platform after this video. After successfully finishing the training course, you will be given the certificate.